Scarecrow.
Yay!
What's happening, guys? How you guys doing tonight? How's it going, Scott? Nice shirt, by the way.
I know. By the way, down below Teespring, Film Junkie store.
There it is. That's what I love about you, man. Wearing the merch. You have the goddamn shirt. I remember making that shirt, and I remember it took me like a week to just kind of come up with like, okay, how should I do this and how should I do that? I mean, the instant thing was like, all right, I'm going to have this kind of bat symbol right here. And I think because it's not quite like this one, that's why I was like able to use it because it's it's different. And then it was like the question mark was easy. Then I was like, okay, how do I incorporate all the other, the main rogues guys, I guess you could say. Catwoman was by far the hardest. I was like, well, how am I going to do that? I struggled. I was trying to make the M the ears at one point. It looked ridiculous. And it was just like, and finally I just was like, all right, I got this basic like of her head. I'm just going to fit it right between the M right there. And it seemed to, I guess, work. So.
Well, I have to completely admit to you, I was not originally wearing a shirt today.
Sorry.
I was going to wear I had this great Darwin Cook, like golden age first appearance Batman shirt. Yeah. And then I was feeding Callum dinner and he thought it would be funny to go with his applesauce all over me.
Of course. All right. We got some people out there. Looks like Mama Film Junkie is here. Cool. What's up, Mom? Hi.
Hi, Mama.
Yeah, and we got Dave. Of course, we got Scott. We got Mattia. What's up? What's going on, guys? All right, let's talk a little bit about some Batman. Sorry that we didn't have one last week. Like I said, it was just birthday and birthdays and birthdays.
It was like birthdays square. It wasn't even birthdays squared. It was like.
Because I had two people, like my friend had a birthday, and they were, supposed to do this Zoom thing in the morning, which I missed because vodka stream went on too late the night before. And then, it was my aunt's birthday, and then it was your wife's birthday. It's like, geez.
That's the thing, though, is that we have lives, Dave.
Exactly. But, but a good portion of our lives are loving Batman. So we're on episode 3, production order, of course, guys, if you're following.
Yeah, it was episode 10 when it aired.
Yes, episode 10. And it's the first appearance of Scarecrow. Who voices the Scarecrow again? I remember
his name was you wouldn't believe it. Henry Pollock II.
Okay. It was funny because I told you I watched like a Sunday ago. Yeah. Sunday, a week ago Sunday. Or was it before that? I don't even remember. My days are all mixed up. It wasn't last Sunday. It was 2 Sundays ago where, like I said, my mom put it on. She just put it on. She wanted us to know what the next episode was. So she put it on. So we watched it. And I remember I just totally forget that there was like an original design for him, which, it didn't look as great.
Well, and there was a great little bit from Bruce Timm about that design because they talked about how they were never happy. Like they said that if you go and watch it, that he changes almost every time he shows up. They were just never happy with his design. And apparently one of the artists who designed this original design, the problem was that the concept art with him being so super skinny, like they had him very sort of angular and like he was supposed to be like, very abstract. And the problem was that when it came back from the animators, he just moved around like a normal person and it completely killed the effect that the design goes for.
Yeah. So, the way it ends up turning into, it's so much better because it's just because you actually, you have his eyes, you can actually see his pupils, you can actually see like teeth in his mouth, I believe, right? With
the teeth are creepy as all get out. Yes,
this is just like it's like he's got a balloon head, and it's a little ghoulish, I guess you could say. Like he's got these ghosty, ghoulish eyes, which I could see that's pretty cool. But at the same time, I'm like, the way it progressed definitely was a lot better.
Now, kudos to Henry Pollock II.
Oh, yeah.
Voice work.
Great. Fantastic.
Oh, fantastic.
Scarecrow. I mean, just the way that he sounds like somebody, too. And I think it was funny because we were trying to look it up. And that's where I actually remember the name. My mom actually looked up the guy's name. And I guess he's just done some, he was in some TV shows and stuff like that. I think he was, I forgot exactly what TV shows. Maybe she'll mention in the chat. But, because it just sounded familiar. It sounded like it was it sounded like a known, like somebody that you just, wow, it's just something about the cadence in his voice or something like that. Just, I don't know who he sounds like, but he sounds like somebody.
And he's got a voice that just makes you go, that's a cool sound.
Yeah.
Like you sound like you say, you sound like someone, but you look at the name, you're like, because there was an Easter egg of a voice in this episode that was really fun for me, because the Richard Mall, who of course we'll later we see as Two-Face,
Harvey,
was the voice of the computer.
Yep. Yeah. Every time you hear the computer, well, he's also, I mean, later on Hardak, right?
I was about to say, I think he is Hardak.
Yes, because the voice of the computer and Hardak sound pretty similar when you hear them. You're like, wait a minute. But I mean, that's a great episode, that 2-parter episode, which I can't wait to talk about.
Oh, Heart of Steel.
Heart of Steel. So good. It's one of the top ones right there. So the episode starts off with with Scarecrow flying a helicopter. He has a lot of flying vehicles.
Yes, he does
in this episode.
And we also, but before we get to that, I do want to do a shout out to Radomski. That title card.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my God.
That's best one so far, I guess you could say, almost.
Well, that makes that title card makes the Scarecrow design look creepy. Like this is what they were trying to go for, and then the animators just effed it up. It's like that would be creepy, and that like that sort of, once again, we got to give our love to Shirley Walker like every episode.
Yeah,
she's got that like descending scales on the strings. What is it about strings that are just like the creepiest sound ever?
Well, yeah, I mean, like I remember even speaking of strings, like when Hans Zimmer was talking about what he wanted to do for the Joker and what he did with that screeching kind of. I mean, Jesus Christ, there's just something about that you could do. You could have strings that could just be like, oh man, look at that, so beautiful. Then you could just immediately go to, that's why they use it in like the slasher films. I mean, they're perfect. They're doing that stuff. Just that screech. Ugh. But yeah, this title card is awesome. I love it. And I love how Fear is like in like big capital letters, while the others just like not. So
no, they're all nice and lowercase. But that. See, that brown is such a great thing. Like, this is another one of those episodes, I'm going to be completely honest with you, where the animation just doesn't do it for me.
It's not that good.
It's not that good. It's just not that good. It might even be the same studio that did like Christmas with the Joker, because it's one of those. Like it's on that bottom tier of animation that we deal with in this series, and that's the problem, is that with a Scarecrow episode, it was too bright. There was too much light.
It should have been darker. And some, we get to better episodes with the Scarecrow where they are, it is darker. But yeah, this one was like, I mean, it was a lot of times where it's like, it's not as dark as maybe it should be with the kind of villain that we're dealing with. Should be a little bit more on the darker tones. And then, so then we see Bruce. Well, we get introduced to Dr. Long, who's, just that typical older guy professor who's just a dick.
Yeah. We did our rando Kevin Conroy voice cameo.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Well, no, he's not the doctor. Right before we meet the doctor, there's that couple walking by going, "It's a shame what's happening to the university." And it's Conroy.
That's Conroy. So I didn't spot it this time. I should have been looking for it too. I think like halfway through, I went, "Oh man, I wasn't listening for extra bonus Conroy voice. Damn it!" So yeah, I was right there in the beginning. So he gets into another thing I was kind of noticing too, when like Summer Gleason is going after Professor Long or Dr. Long, and they get in the elevator, and then she goes, "Oh, hi, Bruce." I'm starting to think that they had a little something. I'm just saying.
Come on. Of course they did. Bruce has a little something with like, I mean, we haven't even gotten to Veronica Freeland yet, and all the other like steady stable of female. He tapped that. It's like.
It was just, I don't know why, it was just their little conversation. I was like, there's something there. And then of course, Dr. Long is douchey, and he exposes, I mean, and this is what's good about this episode's a good episode, because it kind of shows, shows how vulnerable, I guess you could say, Bruce can be, being Batman and being the rich boy. It's like, what does he actually fear? And it's like, I even watch it with my mom when he eventually gets, the toxin. she's like, well, what is he going to fear? I'm like, well, we saw it in the elevator. It was in the elevator when Dr. Long just goes, we start saying that, that he was, what did he say? He went to school with his dad, right? With Thomas.
He went to school with his dad, and he would die of shame.
Shame. And that's Bruce's ultimate fear, is shaming his parents, or, making his parents look bad, or, failing. That's a big word that's in this episode, is failing, which is, that's why I like about this episode, because it works, obviously, because then you go, well, what does Batman fear? Who the hell does he fear? Even though technically, he does have a fear of bats, but, it was more like, hey, let's start tapping into how he's feeling about the parents and everything like that. And I thought that was pretty damn cool how they kind of worked that in there. So, and then when we see when Scarecrow's about to rob the place again, we see a security guard, and he's a little Easter egg of what he's reading. I'm sure you spotted it. Yeah.
I've always spotted the Tiny Toons comic book. I'm like, dude, like half the people working on this show worked on Tiny Toons. Of course, there's a Tiny Toons Easter egg.
The first thing you really notice, and then after really talking about the ties to Tiny Toons, it's like, oh yeah, of course they put those little Easter eggs in there. So I thought that was pretty cool. Nice little throwback. I haven't watched Tiny Toons in forever. Where can you even watch Tiny Toons?
That is a great question.
You think it'd be on HBO Max? They try to get it. That would be sweet.
It would either be on HBO Max or possibly on Hulu, since they're doing the Animaniacs revival.
True. I'm gonna have to look that up.
But with the Looney Tunes characters, you would think HBO Max would have that.
But it's all so weird. It's the logistics of like the streaming and how everything bounces around. It's really strange. I never understand it. So of course Scarecrow breaks in and then sprays the security guard, and just like the security guard, and please don't hold this against me, anybody, yes, he has arachnophobia. Arachno what?
No, yes, absolutely. Oh, and by the way, yes, Tiny Toons is on Hulu.
Okay, there you go. Sweet. There you go. That's what I had the Hulu account. I'm like, wait a minute, why have I been neglecting it? I have Family Manners. I got Step by Step, all that old TGIF, and now freaking Tiny Toons. God, I don't know why I've been neglecting it so much, but anyway,
you bring up a point that that kind of brings in sort of that 66 vibe we talked about with Christmas with the Joker last time. It's like
henchman dumb.
Oh yeah, and it's wonderful exposition for Crane to basically now granted there were times it's like, oh good, I think by that point the movie Arachnophobia had already come out when we were kids, so it's like I knew what arachnophobia was. But you could tell that was there so that you
explain it,
to explain things, and it's just like,
he's
a real professor.
Yeah. I know, it's like sometimes how dumb they make it, but yeah, I'm pretty arachnophobic too. If I got sprayed with that stuff, that's probably would be happy. Although I'm not it's the bigger, hairier spiders, like your tarantulas and stuff, that just that just give me the willies.
Well, which is funny because several of those spiders actually can't bite you.
Exactly. But they're creepy. They're just
creepy as all get out.
Oh, they just make my skin crawl. But like a little black widow or something like that. I mean, yeah, if it's on me, of course, I'll freak out. But at the same time, when I can actually look at it and be like, yeah, it's evil looking, but Jesus, but I don't know. But yeah, you get me with a big no, thank you. That's why I couldn't live in Australia. I'm like, no way. Too many big spiders out there. Fuck that. That's just me. But so yeah, they're robbing the safe, and then of course Batman comes in. And of course he shoots some spray out there, but of course Batman, he's already way ahead of Scarecrow, got that gas mask on.
Oh, you have a gas mask. You are prepared.
Yeah. See, there's some great lines that he says.
There is some great, and once again, that actor playing Scarecrow, it's his delivery. It's like, trust me, you get a lesser actor delivering those lines. Those lines sound stupid as hell.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, you get Kevin Conroy, maybe it wouldn't sound as good. He does good with the Batman work though. But another thing that I noticed when this is the first time I noticed. I didn't notice. I don't think I ever noticed it until this time, where I was like, because when Batman asks who he is, Scarecrow, because eventually we're gonna get to that point where we get that that great Kevin Conroy I am vengeance, I am the night, I am Batman, which we'll get to, and I have the clip. We're gonna watch it and get goosebumps because we love it so much. But Scarecrow does his own version of that first. I didn't realize this because Batman asks who he is. He goes, I am fear incarnate. I am the terror of Gotham. I am Scarecrow. And I was like, wow, I didn't really realize that.
Dude, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah. That's what he said.
Amazing.
Yes. I like paused it. I was like, wait a minute. Did he just do what Batman eventually does to get over the
parallelism. They set it up.
Yeah, watch it again. He says, I am fear incarnate. I am the terror of Gotham. I am Scarecrow. And I'm like, nice. Good writing. This fucking show has such good writing. So I'm glad. Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't. Yeah, I was like, I was
having apple spit on me, you know. But no, but I love that because you can look at a line like I am vengeance, I am the night, I am Batman, and think, well, that's an odd thing to. I mean, it sounds cool as hell, but it's also an odd thing to say.
Yeah.
But then if you go back and realize that it was set up, because he's basically playing off what Scarecrow told him in the safe, then you're just like,
it makes it better. Look at that.
It makes it so much better.
I know, geez, it's crazy. I mean, and it was just funny how like I said, when I watched with my mom, didn't catch it then, but for some reason I was just like, I was tuned in, I was focused, and I went, wait a minute. And so then I rewinded it I think 2 or 3 times just to get everything that he was saying to write it down. So yeah, check that out when you watch it again. And then of course, he gets a dart to the back of the neck because the gas not working, and then gets left into the safe. Fire starts, and then we start hearing Bruce, you failed. And then of course it's his dad, and then it's like, yeah, there's Batman's fear right there. Disappointing dad because you don't want to do that. And of course, it's right in the flames. There's Thomas Wayne. Who voices Thomas? Do you know?
I do not know, and that was not. And actually, looking when I paused the credits,
is it It's not. Conroy.
I think it's Conroy.
It is Conroy. Isn't it?
It is Conroy. Yeah, because
like a deeper or something.
Yeah, and I remembering that because I'm actually jumping ahead and thinking about Perchance to Dream. I think that's one of the episodes that it really gets clear that it's Conroy doing Thomas as well, because actually there is no actor listed as Thomas Wayne in the credits.
I think you're right. So it's got, because you're thinking of you said for fast forward to like the episode with which episode did you say? Was it the Mad Hatter one?
Dream with Mad Hatter?
Yeah. That's the one where and that's now that I'm remembering, it's definitely got to be Conroy. I'm just wondering if was it in this episode? Because sometimes things change, obviously. But now that I'm trying to hear the voice again, and I'm pretty sure it's Kevin Conroy, which it makes.
And they've done cool things like that. I'll little fast forward when they cast Christopher McDonald as Jor-El for Superman the Animated Series, and then Superman shows up in Batman Beyond as an older version of Superman. They have Christopher McDonald do the voice of older Superman because the idea is that as Superman gets older, he'd sound like his dad,
or like his dad. Yeah, I mean that does make sense. And that's just that's just good sense right there to me. But and then so we got Thomas Wayne saying that he's a disgrace, or what did I say? I just wrote down disgrace and exclamation point for some reason. I don't know. Does he say disgrace?
I think so, because I think that's what the Dr. Long calls him. And I think that's what's beautiful about the scene with Dr. Long is that might be like a deep buried fear, but he brings it up to the surface at the beginning of the episode and kind of plants the seed. So it's the thing in the forefront of Bruce's psyche when he gets dosed with the toxin.
And that's exactly what it is. And then, of course, Scarecrow gets away. And everybody's like, oh, and then of course you get the cops, arriving very late. Of course,
response time sucks in Gotham.
Yeah. It's like, wow, they've already had their battle. Fucking Batman's having hallucinations. The guard was having hallucinations, and there's a fire, and then they finally show up running in. And then there's like Scarecrow, and then they're like, "What? Scarecrow? What the hell is that?" And then of course the guard backs him up, and then Bullock, good old Bullock, acting like the douche that he is, who's just like, "Where is this Scarecrow?" And then of course he gets on Batman's case. I think he calls him the commissioner's pet, right?
Yes, he does.
I think isn't that a common thing throughout the series or something like that? Does it call him the commissioner's pet again, or is it just one time?
It's not a common thing, but it's just the ongoing, like watching the relationship change over the series between Batman and Bullock is actually one of those amazing character arcs to watch, because Bullock is so one note at the beginning of the series. Once again, he's a character who gets an opportunity to grow and become a little bit more multifaceted as the series goes on, and that's going to be fun to watch.
Oh yeah, it is, and then especially when you get like that Bullock centered episode, which is which one is that? I can't even remember what the title.
Well, there's a couple of them.
There's a couple of them, right?
There's Vendetta with Killer Croc.
That's right.
And then there's Bullet for Bullock.
Bullet for Bullock. That's the one. There you go. Yeah, those. I mean, that's what's so great about the series too, is they can do that. You know, they can take. Obviously, you want to know more about these characters. Well, yeah, do a centered one, and then of course you see, like you said, you see him evolve and see him, and then you see the relationship between Batman and him evolve. But in this episode, now he's like, nope. Looks like you got some police evidence there, Bats. Of course, because he's got the fabric from
Scarecrow's mask, because he like ripped it off as he was clutching.
Exactly. It's clutching. Oh, man, that fabric rips easy, but it's Batman. Of course it is. And then I just like the fact that that Batman just pushes him. He just pushes him out of the way. Like, try to do anything. Try to arrest me. Try to do anything.
Okay, Fat Man. Yeah.
Give it a try. And he tries, and he gets shoved pretty violently. And then, of course, Commissioner comes in and, starts yelling at him. And then Bullock is saying this, that, and this, sound like a whiny brat. And then looks over. Guess who's not there? Batman. So then Commissioner just plays it like, what are you talking about? I love how Commissioner plays coy when it comes to Batman.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's just like, huh? Batman was here? Sure. Where? Because he knows how Batman just up and disappears like a fart in the wind. Sorry, I don't know why that just came about. Anyways, that's true though, right?
It's very true. It actually reminds me, I was on Dawson's show talking about Black Mirror last night. And I love there's a scene because in that story, Dick is Batman, and like Commissioner like turns off the signal, looks up, and he says something, and Dick's like, "What's the matter?" And he goes, "I'm not used to you still being here when I look up."
There it is. There it is. I mean, that's a trope that I'm wondering how Matt Reeves is gonna approach it. Just that Batman trope of him just vanishing real quick. God. I mean, I love what Snyder did when it came to all of them. When it came to the Commissioner Gordon rooftop scene, just with Barry, even Barry was like, oh wow, that's rude. They just kind of all right, and then Commissioner Gordon's just like. Like, whatever.
There's a line coming up in an episode. It's my fate every time I think about Batman doing the disappearing act. There's an episode later on where he goes, they're in a targeting range, and he just looks up and goes, "One of these days, I'm going to nail that man's feet to the floor." Yeah. And I love that line.
I was just thinking about that too, because it was like finally Commissioner Gordon just instead of just going, huh. He actually goes, you know what? Damn. He was actually frustrated this time. Like, damn it. Why he keeps doing that to me? How does he do that? And it is kind of funny too, because I think like you can kind of go like, oh, how is he doing that? So swift.
It doesn't matter. Why are we trying to explain things?
Exactly. It's just cool. That, we don't need to explain it. All right. So then we got that. And then we get Crane's backstory. Like I said, he's a real professor. So you get Crane's backstory, working at the university and, growing up. I mean, I love that shot. It's funny because it seems like they used the same head and put it on a smaller body when it was a kid. And then when he was older, it was like the same head. It's like, okay. Because he's like running with snakes at girls.
And that is a creepy backstory to go,
oh, yeah.
You're a sociopath. Good to know.
This is why I'm kind of going like, where's the Black Label Crane movie? There's so much here.
Dude, like if you think about, because this is just one step removed from the, you killed birds or cats or dogs and like you were like splaying them and like to just see what makes them tick. Like
Exactly.
this, because you've got some villains that you see something happens to them and it breaks them bad.
Yeah.
Crane is one, at least in this series, that you're like, oh, you were broken from the beginning.
Yeah. And then you can like, what caused all that? Why is he so upset? There's so much there with this character that I'm like, how are they just not doing that already, in the Black Label Joker sense? Because
they've never done it in live action at all.
Yeah, like I mean, they've done the in Batman Begins. Obviously, there was a lot. There was Scarecrow, and there's some you could kind of tell too that there might have been some inspiration from like stuff that happens in this episode that maybe Nolan, when he was researching Scarecrow, I think he went back and watched some of these episodes because there's some things in here where you kind of go, huh. I think Nolan was kind of doing his homework here when it came to certain things. But when it comes to, but like I said, there's so much there. And then you see him, older, and then he's got people locked up and they're just like tripping out on their fears, just like freaking out in their little cells and everything. I mean, I can't even, it would be like an R-rated horror type movie that's a Batman villain. I mean, it'd be so good.
It would be fantastic because, I mean, honestly, you also want to look at the fact that he had like a whole hallway of rooms. Like,
yes.
I want to, it's like the university eventually shut him down. But I'm like, who signed off on that in the first place? Who volunteered for this? What did the waiver look like? It's
so many questions.
I'm
telling you, somebody get on it, man. Make this Black Labeled Crane movie. Just call it Crane. And then of course now Bruce is tripping out. He's at home, in the Batcave, and I love the fact that it's been like a day and he's already got stubble and he's like in his robe and he's just trying to still figure everything out, but of course he's still tripping. And then Alfred, we have actually a good little Alfred Bruce, father son type moment, I guess you could say, where Bruce starts explaining that he's tripping out and he's seeing his father saying that he failed as he's looking down like a canyon in the Batcave, and I'm like,
and I also love the fact that Bruce isn't being a dick and trying to hide the fact that he got dosed. Like, he's actually
vulnerable,
open with Alfred. Yeah. Like, no, this happened. I'm dosed. I'm seeing things. Like, that's when you realize that there is that relationship between Bruce and Alfred, that Bruce admits this to Alfred. He's not trying to do the stupid, like,
brooding, I'm good. Yeah,
I'm good. Or the CW kind of, we're going to keep secrets from everyone for like half the season kind of deal. And this is actually an episode that we still have the original Alfred actor, Clive Revel. And this is actually, I think, his strongest episode. Like, this is an episode that I'm just like, I actually had to sit there for a minute and go, wait, no, that's not Ephraim. We're not Ephraim yet. But it was still it's still a good performance, which I'll admit, for the past two episodes, I would not say that about Clive's performance as Alfred.
But this one was good because, he tells him like, oh, I'm proud of you. And, it's just like a good little moment. Bruce vulnerable. And then Alfred just kind of going like, hey, you're good. You're fine, man. You're good. And let me make you some soup, because soup, wipes out the fear. Well, maybe not, but still, it helps. Soup always helps when you're not feeling good. And then, so it's like a little father moment. And then when it gets to the little, I guess you could say the final act of the episode, where exactly are that? There's like some museum party, right?
Right, because it's a fundraiser for the university.
That's right. And then Gas gets all in there, so everybody starts freaking out. Dr. Long, apparently his fear is becoming a skeleton or getting too old, I guess.
He says, over my dead body.
Oh, so then he's like, okay, so that makes sense.
So he's getting old. He's thinking about his mortality. This is actually a part of the episode that I can appreciate the writing, because they play off of different fears, and it is subtly or visually depicted, and we don't have the cheesy dialogue like the arachnophobia, a fear of spiders. Like, it's like, okay, he's an old man who's afraid of his mortality. Later on, when the goon gets gassed, like the walls, they're closing in. It's like, oh, he's claustrophobia. Okay. Like, so those are times where it's like, at least they didn't stop to like spell it out for me. It's like there's a little bit more of a subtle visual about what the fears that are being induced. This is another scene though where the brightness and the light, like, they just look ridiculous.
Too much.
Freaking out over their, like, you almost wanted them to animate more of what are they seeing?
Yeah, you kind of do. You want to see what every individual, and see, and like I said, I mean, so much there. I mean, and what they could even do with the characters. Like, there's so many different kinds of fears that people have. I mean, I could think of a random one that I think I have a little bit of. It's called trypophobia. Have you ever heard of that?
I have not.
A clutter of holes that are different sizes. That's what it is. So if you look it up, I think I forgot exactly how to spell it. I think is it Y or something. Anyways, or trypophobia. I don't know. It's one of those. But I remember like somebody I worked with talked about that. And yeah, it's just like when you see like a clutter of like holes that are like either different sizes or even the same, like a honeycomb even can freak you out a little bit. But it's mainly when they're like different sizes.
TRYPO.
There you go.
Trypophobia is an aversion to in the sight of irregular patterns or clusters of small holes or bumps.
You know what's weird though? Like when I see some stuff, like especially when people like put it on like their skin, like there'll be makeup artists that like put it on their skin. That freaks me out like so bad. They'll look like they have like a really bad like skin irritation, and it's just like the side of it. I start like going, like my heart will start. I literally just. It's a weird thing, man. Like, and there was a girl that I worked with. He would like bring it up on her screen when she'd leave her desk, and then she'd like open up her screen, and there would be like this, and it could just be something like a plant or something, and it just would trigger. She'd be like, she would freak out about it. I mean, there's just weird things like there's so many phobias, man. It's weird.
This one was actually coined in 2005.
Yeah, it's
relatively new. Like, yeah, I love it. Biological revulsion that associates tryptophobic shapes with danger or disease and may therefore have an evolutionary basis.
Yes. See, yeah, it's just something that when I was working at this place that I got, and I realized I have a little bit of it because sometimes like a little sites. I mean, if it's a design, doesn't really do it, but it's when it's been on like plants. Like there's sometimes you'll see like a plant that has like this because it looks alien to me, so it's kind of creepy. And then, but when I see people either Photoshop it on like their skin or their hand or do makeup, it just gives me the heebs, man.
It's funny though. This is like the exact opposite of what we were talking about last time, the vodka stream, when you were complaining about the way Max Payne, the film, showed how everyone was tripping. It's like, no, this is actually what this episode like needed.
Yes. Right. Yeah. I was just actually thinking about that too, because last night I was complaining about Max Payne, how they were like, when you play the game, you got these people tripping on this drug, but you don't know what they're seeing because you're seeing it in the point of view of Max Payne. So you don't know what the hell. And then, but in the movie, they decided, okay, well, this is what they're actually seeing. They're seeing angels and demons and all crazy crap and stuff. And I'm like, I mean, it was cool, but yeah, it would be cool for something like this. You would have to, I mean, if you're going to do like again, going back to the Crane movie, you're going to have to show, I mean, I can't even imagine like the reaction to a Crane movie if you actually really just show like some of these phobias. I mean, there would be a sequence probably where there would be some spiders, and I would be like, I can't that scene's hard to watch. Jesus. And there'll be like they can really, you get a director that can really emphasize like some, being a fear of heights and stuff like that. I mean, you could really just do so much with that. And
it's like the closest that came in Batman Begins was that scene when Batman douses Crane and he's like the bat creature with like the black goo,
which
like,
we kind of see in here.
We do kind of see in here. We do, which looks a little bit like Night on Ball Mountain from Fantasia.
Okay, I can see that. But another thing that they actually showed too was when everybody was like, doused up, and then Batman was there. They go like, "Oh my God, it's a giant bat!" So they start going after them. That's also, you see a scene like that also in Batman Begins, where everybody's looking up and seeing Batman, and they see him as this like, what the hell is this creature? And then everybody just starts like going after him, where he literally has to, grappling hook out of the crowd, out of the mob. So I'm like, see,
but did someone whack him with their purse? I'm sorry, I can't. I love the show. I can't take that seriously. I just can't. No, the socialite like whacking her purse against Batman.
Yeah, I think Christopher Nolan was like, let's not do the purse thing. Let's just have a bunch of people mob Batman like that. But yeah, purse is not going to really do that. But so everybody's doing that, and then of course, then we got a Scarecrow's second flying vehicle, which is just a blimp. It's a blimp.
It's the animated series.
It's the animated series. Not exactly the best getaway vehicle, but it's got that cable that has the gas on it, and it's, I guess, was that supposed to be like, I was kind of confused by it, because I was kind of going, wait, was he, when the cable rips and there's gas coming out of it, is he trying to douse the city too? Or?
No, that was just basically, they didn't take the time to disconnect the gas, so it just ripped as they were.
It's just a way for Batman to get on the blimp.
Exactly. Which, by the way, something I didn't bring up last time with Christmas the Joker. I love looking at these episodes. Did you ever play the Adventures of Batman and Robin game for like the Sega Genesis or the Super Nintendo?
I did not, sadly.
What I love is like watching episodes going, oh, this inspired a level. Because it's like there's a whole scene, there's a Joker level where you have to fight like the giant nutcrackers, and getting on the blimp and fighting on top of the blimp from the Scarecrow episode. That's a level in the game.
Nice, of course.
And the two, I will tell you though, totally got Rocketeer vibes when I'm watching Batman fighting the gangster on top of the blimp.
That's true, right? Yeah, there's a little bit of that right there. And then, of course, shooting with the a Tommy gun, essentially, whatever you want to call it. But not exactly smart to shoot that on a blimp, because it's going to end up messing up the blimp a little bit. And but of course, we get the iconic scene, of course, where Batman's still tripping out and he's kind of hanging on the side of the blimp, and of course sees his dad again. It's a really great scene, and then it's just Kevin Conroy really just hitting it with, oh wait, I forgot to share the audio. Just hitting it with all cylinders right here when it comes to his Batman voice. Just so good. So let's go ahead and bring this up right here. So here it is.
Bruce.
No.
Not now. You are a disgrace.
No, that's not Conroy.
No, you are not my father. I am not a disgrace. I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman.
So good.
I know. The only problem I have is the animation makes this scene look so ridiculous. But like, if you just listen to it, the music and the performance is like
so good, chef's kiss. But then because even like I said, the animation. I mean, look at how he kind of looks right there, and he's just like, okay. It's a little weird. It's a little wonky for me right there, but still.
But this is like, that line defines Conroy's Batman
big time.
It's the third episode made. Like, it's just we go back to how much of this series the bones are just baked in these early episodes. Like, this stuff was there. Maybe it wasn't hitting on all cylinders.
No.
But that's still the line Conroy. I mean, have you ever heard the story that Conroy tells about helping out at a first responder station at 9/11?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay. So, of course, 9/11 happens, and anyone who's in New York tries to jump in to help. So he's at some sort of station where they're feeding first responders, the people who were digging through the rubble at the Twin Towers, like, and with fire and police and everyone else. And he's in the back and he's cooking and he's talking to some guy.
Mm-hmm.
And the one of the guys goes, dude, you know what? You sound like Batman. And
Really?
He goes, well, it's
yeah,
because I am Batman. I'm the voice of Batman on the cartoon. He's like, and the guy's like, no, you oh, what you serious? Like he's just being he's
Of
being
course.
that sort of skeptical New Yorker, and apparently
Fucking serious. Yeah.
And then Conroy does the I am vengeance, I am the
I
night,
am.
I am Batman. He goes, holy guys, Batman's back here, and it's a great story because it's like, what do you think? All those people who digging through the rubble after 9/11, like, just you can imagine all those firefighters and all those police officers are just like elated that Batman's fixing them sandwiches, and
it's crazy. I love that.
But once again, this episode has the line that becomes like Conroy's signature,
really does,
as the character. When you hear "I am vengeance, I am the night, I am Batman," you think animated series Batman.
100%. And then I love the fact too. I mean, again, the inspiration, you better believe that Matt Reeves even did some of this stuff. And the fact that when we, instead of hearing "I'm Batman" from Robert Pattinson, what does he say? "I'm vengeance." You know, I mean, vengeance has always been part of, you know, the lure, of course, of Batman. But the fact that, you know, I'm sure Reeves was doing his homework. I think we've even talked about that before. You know, he was probably watching these episodes and of course with the iconic line. And then I love the fact that Kevin Conroy, till this day, will still just say it out. He'll just say it in a video, and it still sounds just magical coming out of that man's mouth right there, man. Tell you what.
Well, it almost sounds even better now because once again, as he's gotten older, that Batman voice has just gotten so much more Batman.
Yeah, a little more growlier. I'm like, nah, he could still go on and still keep doing the voices for all the animated stuff. Please keep going on. So there was another thing. All right, so then Scarecrow gets away again. And you know, Batman saves Dr. Long by doing another, you know, hey, let's just jump and see where we land. Oh, and speaking of that, I mean, there was like the two henchmen. One of them, like I said, one of them, like, it falls off the blimp and successfully lands on one of those tarps on like a building. Just boing, trampoline. He's good. The other one, who freaks out, you know, gets sprayed and sees, you know, the jail cell and the walls closing, and leaps out the window, lands on like a big, huge bonsai tree or something like that, and it just cushions him. He's good.
No. Did we see him? Did we see him move? That's all we needed. That's all we needed for standards and practices. Did he breathe? Did he twitch?
And he's
good. He's alive. Okay,
he's cool. It's always great. So yeah, he saves Dr. Long. They get out of there, and then of course we got the bat computer in the Batmobile that is, you know, searching for, you know, possible leads and everything. And then when it brings up like some labs or some companies, the ones that stand out are Access Engineering, because I'm kind of going, are they okay? Instead of doing the ACE, just like, you know, when it came to 89 Batman, they changed it, instead of ACE Chemicals, Access Chemicals. So I was kind of like, okay. And then of course you see Star Labs, which anybody
I had never noticed until this viewing.
There it is. Yeah. That's what's so great about it. I mean, you just see it there. I think when I watched my mom, I was like, there you go. That's something we'll definitely, you know, get on. Is that Star Labs? We see like an expansion of the DC universe. Anytime, you know, it's funny because anytime, and I think even Kevin Smith brought this up too, when him and Mark Bernardin did their commentary for Batman Forever, and the fact that Bruce said like, oh yeah, well, the circus should be halfway to Metropolis by now. I mean, he brought up a good point. It's like, back then that was we freaked out because
we lost our ever loving minds
because we didn't have the connected universes like we do now. So when anything was mentioned of another character's, like, you know, something that took place in another character's world, like what the hell? So I mean, maybe like when we were younger, we didn't catch it then, but I mean, now when we, like, if you were to think about it, I mean, imagine watching this back then and just making that, you know, making that correlation of like, oh yeah, Star Labs, Flash, you know, just there's like a freak out factor right there, and I love that. Totally love that. Are you good? Did you freeze, Scott? I think Scott froze. Uh-oh. Scott, are you there? Let's see. Hold on. Well, you're back. Scott? Technical difficulties. Hold on. Looks like I lost him a little bit. Damn. Gotta love these technical difficulties.
Yes.
There you go. You're there. Wait, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you?
Okay,
Can
hold
you?
on.
Dave, can you hear me now? Okay.
Yeah, I know. Hold on. Okay. Yeah. All right. I don't know what happened. You know, a
Hey,
little
it's my
glitch.
internet. That's exactly. Yeah, I am
Yeah,
sure there is someone watching Netflix or doing
probably.
something right now that's like, damn it.
Because it looked like you were about to say something. I'm like, wait, Scott? Huh? What?
No,
You there?
I saw the spinning wheel of death going.
Oh man, somebody just logged on. Anyways, so then of course, Crane's back at his little hideout, and he gets a little gassed, and of course, Batman does his thing, shut off the lights. You know, Batman's really good at cutting off electricity. I mean, that's one of his.
Which, by the way, one of the sound effects was, oh, wait a minute, that's the Man Bat recording. I heard the Man Bat sound effects.
Yep.
I was like,
Yep.
recycling.
When you see the when you see the bat creature, it's I mean, even it doesn't look like the Man Bat, but you definitely get that sound. And then, like you said, we get another thing that could have been inspired with by Christopher Nolan to put in Batman Begins is you see Batman and you see this big huge bat creature that's demon looking and everything. So of course Crane freaks out. And then we get him, and then we get this awesome ending scene at the cemetery with a good score. Oh, and I have it, of course.
Of course you do.
Yes, I'm like, oh yeah, this is it's just such a fantastic ending to it, because obviously this whole episode's about Bruce in fear that he would had his parents, if they were alive, they'd be disappointed in him. Like you failed. Man, I always forget to share the audio. It's like a new thing that they put on here. It's like, oh yeah, you can actually share the audio now. You just got to click the thing. There we go. All right. So then we got this right here. It's just like the score and everything is just so beautiful. And then the way, which we'll see right here. So just the wind.
That tombstone is just so imposing.
Yeah. Let's get the shades on. Yeah.
And I cannot watch this without thinking about how this all plays out in Mask of the Phantasm later.
Right? And then the shadow is Batman.
Which makes no logical sense, and it doesn't have to.
But it looks awesome.
Awesome. Exactly.
I mean, it's a comic book shot. If you were to get a comic book panel, you would see that, like him walking off and the shadow is, I mean, it's such a comic book shot. It's just, it makes no sense because like, how would that happen? But it makes sense in the symbolic, or like not symbolic, but just the aesthetic.
It's a completely symbolic thing.
Yeah. But it's just, that's what's so great about it. I mean, just a good way to end it. Like I said, Shirley Walker's score right there. Just so beautiful. What is that? Oh, there you go. Scarecrow. See, that's when the design was definitely much better right there.
Oh, I love this design.
And you said that you have something else to show us last night too.
Yes, someone brought this up. A listener, a viewer. So I'm used to being a podcaster, calling you listeners instead of viewers. Someone brought up this book, which I actually did have. I just had to go remember. But Mondo did a whole series of posters, and they've done now a coffee table book of them. So as we get to episodes, I've been meaning to share the posters, and they have a poster for Nothing to Fear. But what I love about this book is you get a full page spread of,
look at that,
of like the finished poster that they would sell.
But
then on the other side, you get like all the concept art for like other designs they didn't end up using. So, but this ended up being the poster that they did for Nothing to Fear.
Yeah, I love that. Freaking love that. See, God.
See, this is another thing where you go, okay, this Scarecrow design, if executed better, could have been a really awesome, creepy design. The problem is that when it got animated, nothing about it was creepy.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like I said, they try to go with like the ghostly, ghoulish eyes, but it just, like I said, it just looks like a big balloon head. I mean, especially like when there's like a part where he takes the hat off and he's like disappointed in himself and he's doing this, and it just looks funny with that type of just like balloon head looking mask. I don't know. I just kind of laughed at that part. I don't know why. Just because he was so disappointed. And
the head shake he does. Oh yeah, it just looks ridiculous. ridiculous.
Yeah. So, but that's awesome, dude. I love. Man, there's like I said, there's when it comes to this episode, you know, the disappointing factor is like, yeah, the design's not as great, the animation's not as sharp, it's a little too bright, but overall, still a great Scarecrow episode, and I would recommend anyone to see it if they're like, I mean, if I was gonna pitch. If you know it was Todd Phillips or somebody else, I'm gonna pitch like a Crane movie. Obviously, I'd be like, "Well, watch this episode, just for the backstory, you know, and for the fact that we can, you know, you could really capitalize on showing fears, with a backstory when it comes to Crane." So it's like, you know, I'm like, it just feels like they're leaving money on the table. It could be like it's a small movie, just like Joker was, $40-50 million budget. I don't know. Maybe they'd have to go on. I don't know. But I think it would just be such, because even later episodes with the Scarecrow and even like later designs, I don't know if I guess they would have to eventually get to like a full on design. I mean, I like the fact when you get to like season 3 with the Batman and Robin and you get the noose around the neck and you really get like a crazy Scarecrow design.
That thing is like, just whacked.
Yes,
like
it's crazy. And then even like Gotham's, like I commend Gotham for what they did with the Scarecrow design as well. They did it.
Oh no, that tweet was going around today.
Yes, where the guy was just like, you know, he was in his trailer, right, or something like that, and he was like, there was like a cat or a dog. It was a dog, right? Did you see that? Yes. And it's just like, it was like, yeah, look at that. Even just him sitting there, that looks creepy as hell. They did such a good job with that design, man. So much you could do here, man, with that. So, but anyways, anything else you got with this episode?
No, well, once again, you know, these early, I mean, we start off with such a banger with On Leather Wings, and we're kind of going through like a, you know, kind of the early episode drag. You know, we got a Joker episode. I mean, because Last Laugh is our next episode, right?
Yep, Last Laugh, yep.
Which, once again, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, not an episode that particularly, you know, floats my boat. I do, however, think it's Ephraim. I think we finally get to Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. though. Okay. As Alfred, maybe I'll have to watch it, but I do know after that is Pretty Poison, and then that's a good episode.
Oh yeah. We're gonna start getting into the thick of the really good episodes where we're gonna be diving super deep in, and we're gonna be like, everything's so great, everything's great, no gripes here. I can't wait for those, but yeah, so next week, if we're following the production schedule, we're going to be doing The Last Laugh, which is another, I'm trying to remember exactly why can't I remember exactly what happens in this episode?
Oh, that's the one with the garbage. That's the one.
That is the garbage one.
That's
right?
The garbage episode.
It's
the April Fool's Day episode.
Okay,
yes.
So yeah, there you go. This one, I mean, that one has, I like that. I like what they did with the music. For some reason, it's got a very distinctive. It's just the way that it goes, which we'll talk about, of course. But like I said, with this episode, still, I mean, what's always going to be the strong side is the goddamn score. Shirley Walker, we can't commend her enough. And like I said, that you know, just all throughout this episode, and it's just that big payoff at the end in the cemetery. Just a chef kiss like no other. I tell you what. So anyways, guys, all right, so I think there you go. There's nothing to fear right there, guys. I think we pretty much covered it from beginning to end. Great episode. Like I said, we got some gripes about it, but nothing wrong with that. And come on, Warner Brothers, Jesus Christ, give us a freaking Crane or a Scarecrow. I mean, it's funny too, because I think a perfect title would be Crane, just Crane.
Oh, yes.
But they probably go, no, it's got to be Scarecrow or something like that, because, you know, it's just, you know, somebody's going to make that decision of like, no, it's got to be the name of the villain because it sounds better, and blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, what? But Crane just sounds, there's just something about it, you know? And I'm drawing a blank. What's his first name? I'm like totally drawing a blank. Jonathan. Duh. Jeez, I was like, Professor?
Dr. Jonathan Crane.
Yeah, my brain was going, fuck, you know, I mean, and I knew it was a common name too. I'm like, but it was there and not. And I was like, wow, that's why I just had to ask. So there you go. There you go. Good way to wrap it up. What's his first name? It's not Professor. No. Jokes, guys. Anyways.
You're Dave.
I know. It's a brain fart moment, man. And then I was like, Professor? No. but I was joking about that. I didn't think his first name was Professor, but I just could not. And I knew
you're like one of the you're one of the goons, Dave. That's what you, that's what you are.
Arachnophobia. Yeah. I know I could have been a good one of those. But anyways, guys, we appreciate you clicking in for this episode. Like I said, next week is the last laugh, so make sure you check that one out. And this was a lot of fun as per usual. I mean, obviously, this is our love for Batman the Animated Series, and I can't wait to like get really in deeper into some of these episodes, the ones that are where everything is just everything. We're just going to be making a lot of those sounds, like man, you know, kind of like when it came to leather wings, we did a lot of that. We're just like, yes, a lot of those noises. So if people are just hearing the audio, they're going to be like, what the hell? But anyways, all right. We appreciate you guys joining us. Go ahead, Scott, plug yourself.
Of course, you can find me on Twitter at ScottDC27. You can find my podcast, the DC Film Squadcast, wherever podcasts can be found. I'm going to go ahead and plug the fact that tomorrow night over on Wonder Meg, I will be talking about the next few chapters of Dune by Frank Herbert. And of course, you can find my entire network of shows at squadcastmedia.com.
There you go. And then, of course, you guys know what to do. Hit that like, thumbs up before you leave. If you want to hit that notification bell so you know when I'm doing this stuff, please do so. Join Film Junkie to become a member. You know, I try to do behind the scenes videos, post-show videos and everything for the members and everything. And then, of course, Patreon. If you want to join that, get some early access to things. And then what Scott is wearing, you could get that shirt right down below, which is awesome right there. So please do so. All right. That's pretty much it, guys. We love you. And we will definitely talk to you later. Next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Unless, you know, somebody's birthday is happening. All right, guys. Talk to you later.